Welcome into a brand new week here on the Ravens Rundown. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we have a fresh batch of Ravens news and rumors to get to, as we will be talking about Aaron Jones as well as Patrick Queen coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, folks, as Lady Gaga once said, we are on the edge of glory. We are very close to 10,000 subscribers on the channel, just a little over 200 away from doing so. For the latest happenings on your favorite team, subscribe now for free as we bring you daily news and rumors. We also do our live shows from time to time and watch parties for the marquee games of the NFL season. And here's the deal. The more subscribers we get, the more content we can bring you here on the channel. So subscribe for free today, turn on notifications, and we'll get started with today's show. Aaron Jones, a player we have not talked about at all as a possibility for the Baltimore Ravens, has now been suggested as a potential trade candidate for Baltimore, according to NFL Analytics Network, as they're suggesting a trade could happen. And if you recall, the rumors about the running back position have certainly ramped up quite a bit within the last couple weeks, especially after that cryptic message we saw from J.K. Dobbins with the uncertainty about his future with the organization beyond this season. So with that, what about Aaron Jones, a former fifth-round pick back in 2017 out of the University of Texas, El Paso? He was a Pro Bowler in 2020, and the year prior to that, he was tied for the league lead in rushing touchdowns. He has been dynamic and a great playmaker for the Green Bay Packers. And you look at what they have in A.J. Dillon behind him there in Green Bay, and the post-Aaron Rodgers era now might be the perfect time for Green Bay to potentially make a move of moving on from Aaron Jones there, and Baltimore could be that potential fit. Here's more from Tim Ham of SI Ravens Country reacting to this trade idea. Last season, Kenyon Drake led the team with 109 carries, while J.K. Dobbins recovered from a knee injury, along with Gus Edwards. Edwards and Dobbins are both in the final season of their deals, and the Ravens might be concerned about Dobbins' workload after an injury. Jones could potentially thrive in Baltimore's offense that led the league last year, averaging 4.9 yards per carry. These statistics from Aaron Jones coming off a season where he had over 1,000 yards rushing, but just 2 touchdown scores. He did have a good yards per carry average at 5.3. The year prior, he had a little less than 800 yards rushing with 4 touchdowns. You go back to that 2019 season, that was probably the best of his career with a little less than 1,100 yards and 16 touchdowns, which tied for the league lead there. The trade idea that was proposed, though, by NFL Analytics Network, this one is where it gets a little bit too far for me. They are proposing that the Ravens give up a second and fifth-round pick in next year's draft to bring in Aaron Jones. To me, that asking price is a little bit too high. I'm all in favor of the idea of potentially bringing in Aaron Jones and adding depth to that running back backfield, which needs depth. But a second and fifth-round pick, that's a little bit too high of an asking price for me personally. But your chance to weigh in. Should the Ravens trade for Aaron Jones? What do you think about the idea of bringing Jones to Baltimore? It's our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in and tell me what you think. Y for yes, in for no. Should the Ravens trade for Aaron Jones or not? From one trade idea to another, we circle back to Patrick Queen, the Ravens linebacker, who has certainly been in the news as a possible trade candidate for Baltimore ever since the Ravens did not pick up his fifth-year option. Well, Sports Illustrated is still saying that Queen is a top trade candidate for the Ravens to potentially move on from before the 2023 NFL season officially begins. Here's more from SI. Queen makes a lot of sense when you consider all the factors at play. Last year, the Ravens traded for All-Pro linebacker Roquan Smith and then paid him $100 million on his 5-year extension. In the spring, Baltimore declined Queen's fifth-year option, making him a free agent after the upcoming season. Those two facts alone make it clear that should a team call about Queen, the Ravens would listen. While Baltimore may have soured on Queen, he has talent. And that's the thing. No one is questioning, I think, the talent level of Patrick Queen. It's just a matter of if he can put it all together, right? If the Ravens were going to trade Patrick Queen, I think it would have already happened by now. I think that you would have seen them go on with a potential move as is. I mean, think about this. You brought in Trenton Simpson, and there's a lot of excitement. I think Trenton Simpson can be a very good linebacker in this league. And obviously, you had to move some money around for Lamar Jackson's extension and to pay guys. I think that would have already said, if we weren't committed to Patrick Queen now, we would have already done this. I think that when you hear Eric DeCosta and others say, look, we didn't pick up the fifth-year option, but we still want him here, that they really do believe that. And I think that with him showing up to off-season activities and being around this organization and having a good attitude, all of that's a good sign that Patrick Queen should be back in Baltimore. There should be a long-term deal done. So I don't think a trade's going to happen at this point, but we'll see. Crazier things have happened before. Should Baltimore trade Patrick Queen? What do you think? Should the Ravens ultimately move on from him or not? Tell us what you think in the comment section. Type T for trade, type K for keep. What do you think? Should the Ravens trade Patrick Queen or not? Let us know in the comment section below. So with the Ravens declining the fifth-year option on Patrick Queen, that will make him a free agent next offseason. But the expectation is, at least what we've been told by Eric DeCosta and the Ravens organization, that they don't want to get to that point. They don't want him to hit the open market, that they would like to get something done. The biggest thing you can say about Patrick Queen when it comes to what he's done in his time in Baltimore has been the availability. He started every game for the Baltimore Ravens since being drafted in 2020, and that season he was also an all-rookie team selection by the Pro Football Writers Association. But there's one thing that stands out when you look at Patrick Queen that he needs to work on, that needs to be a point of emphasis for him as he enters 2023, and that has to be getting better in pass coverage. Look, Patrick Queen had a strong second half of the season in 2022, and you could see how well it was for him to partner alongside Roquan Smith and the combination that they brought together. His numbers last year, 117 tackles, 5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, and 2 fumble recoveries. But what's interesting is when we talk about pass coverage with Patrick Queen, in the past 2 seasons, he has just 3 pass breakups total. That's got to improve. That's got to come up for Patrick Queen. And if you're looking for comparisons of some sorts of how other guys have looked when they've entered their year 4 of guys that were picked around the same time of Patrick Queen over the years, let me point out 4 players in particular. And here's the thing about Patrick Queen. Of the 4 players that we see here that are similar comparisons of guys that were picked around the same time as Patrick Queen, his tackle numbers are better than all of those guys when it comes to straight-up tackles. And the tackle for loss number, very similar, right? But the pass breakups number, look at like Eric Kendricks, for example, in year 4. 10 pass breakups, okay? McKinney, 8 pass breakups. I think that we can expect more, and you should see more out of Patrick Queen to not only hold serve with those tackle numbers that we've seen, where he's done a very good job of, and coming off a year where he had 117 plus, but you should expect to see him take that next step when it comes to pass breakups in pass coverage as a linebacker. That's the next thing the Ravens need to see. They're going to invest in him long term. If they want to keep him around, these next few weeks, I think, as you go through these offseason activities, are crucial to see if Patrick Queen is putting that work in to take that next step up as a playmaker and be a Pro Bowl linebacker in this league. So, what's your confidence level in Patrick Queen? What do you think? Is he going to be able to continue to take that next step and become the playmaker he needs to be in pass coverage? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Scale it for me 1 through 10, what your confidence level in Patrick Queen is. Subscribe to the channel. We got you covered all offseason long with the latest happenings on your favorite team with news and rumors on the Baltimore Ravens. We have a lot of fun doing it here on the channel. Turn on notifications. Never miss a moment. We'll see you next time right here on the Ravens Rundown.